Hello and welcome to this video on creating the smallest style of bonsai possible, Keishi. Keishi are a tiny bonsai at just on or below 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters, almost no bigger than a weed. Bonsai are more commonly between mame, which is 15 centimeters, and shohin, which is about 20 centimeters. Keishi means thumb size, and this describes the size of the bonsai completely. To achieve this, we are going to use a species of ivy. It is a common plant in our area and practically a weed. That is ideal as it will survive being grown as such a tiny specimen. We begin by sifting the soil to remove large soil particles and create a very fine soil mix. This is important as it is going to be grown in a very small pot. As a result of this, you need to pack as much nutrition into that tiny space as you possibly can. This will also help to a certain degree with retaining moisture. A mesh screen is added to the tiny pot, although depending on what you choose to use, this may not be necessary. Admittedly, in this case, our pot is also the same size as the vine, but you use what you can for these sorts of things. Fixing wire is added to the pot. The soil is then added on top of this, and we then embed our ivy. More soil is added on top of this, and the plant is secured with the wire. A little more soil is then added. Water your new and likely temporary bonsai in, and place moss over the surface. Now it is planted, it's time to style the ivy as you would any other bonsai. In this case, the two specimens we have created are going to be dealt with in two different ways. One is a semi-cascade. We've explained how to style a semi-cascade before now, but to summarize, a slowly descending trunk that moves to a point at or above the bottom of the pot. It moves left and right and branches at each turn as it moves down. The second is a somewhat less impressive attempt. It is an informal upright. A similar idea, but vertical rather than horizontal. The trunk moves left and right, snaking its way up to a point. Branches come out from each side. As can be seen, Keishi bonsai are tiny. Here is a matchstick for comparison to them. The next obvious evolution of a Keishi bonsai is a mame. This size is far more viable and has long-term stability. You can maintain this size and keep it as the final evolution of your bonsai. The disadvantages of Keishi are many-fold. Being so tiny, they are prone to many problems. The most obvious for many people is going to be that they do not retain water anywhere near as well. If you are going to try and train these regularly and keep them for the longer term, you need to take a number of steps. One of the simplest is to try and put them in some sort of greenhouse where they will try and hold on to more moisture in the soil. This will also mean that you will have to give them more attention, notably more fertilizer. This will ensure they grow healthy and that they keep enough water to keep that growth going and do not dry out. That will be your biggest problem. Such a tiny pot will dry out very quickly. Conversely, if you overwater, you may inadvertently kill them. Such a tiny little tree has very fine tipping points in every direction and by every metric that you would otherwise consider a bonsai. Keishi are quaint. They look interesting and will be a conversation starter for anyone. You need only hope it is a short conversation. Keishi are practically impossible to keep at their size or maintain the style for a very long time. There are a few rare exceptions. The reality is, over any reasonably long term, they will quickly outgrow the size of a Keishi and lose any semblance of a bonsai that has been styled. Attempts to keep them in check will require repotting very often, far more often than any mame or shohin bonsai would ever need. This is why Keishi are generally considered a single showing item, something that you bring for one exhibition and show and then convert into another style in order to keep it going. They are rarely, if ever, used more than once and able to be maintained. Thank you for watching this video. If you have found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please post any comments, questions, or suggestions that you have below.